We will actually now make a kind of the age summary, and this is actually a summary of a new product called an ASEM desktop study that has been made by the Danish Clearinghouse for Educational Research, and which is part of the ambition that we have had to make ASEM reviews and try to realize that ambition. We have started out with a so-called ASEM desktop study, and it's actually in the material that you have been receiving when you came here yesterday. And the desktop study is on the role of higher education, or rather which role higher education can play in sustainable development through the development of lifelong learning skills. So it's very much in tune with the theme for this conference. I have asked the leader of the Danish Clearinghouse for Educational Research, Associate Professor Camilla Brørup Dyssegaard, and Professor Niels Egelund, both of them working here at the Danish School of Education, to present this desktop study. And I'm very glad that they were able to take some time out to come here today and make a presentation of this desktop study. So welcome to Professor Niels Egelund and Associate Professor Camilla Brørup Dyssegaard.
So we're here to present this tiny little book, but with a lot of details in it. So I'm looking forward to telling you a little bit more, or we both are. Niels and I have been the ones mainly working on this project. And I would like to say it is a first part. We are doing another desktop study in the beginning here of 2017, where we'll have a focus on Europe. And finally, we'll do a comparative study of the two desktop studies to see how the research is similar or different, and focus areas, etc.
Yes, and here's a study question. How does higher education in selected countries in Asia contribute to sustainable development by working with the continuous development of lifelong learning skills?
So this is the description of the included studies. When we do desktop studies in Clearinghouse, we do very systematic searches. So we have to make sure that we're looking for exactly the same thing. And the study question that Niels just presented you with will be exactly the same in the European version, except it will say Europe instead of Asia. So we've looked at studies from the 1st of January 2010 to the 31st of December 2015.
And the geographic area we have covered is Asia, Oceania, Australia, and New Zealand.
All the studies are in English.
As we are unable to read in many of the languages spoken out there.
Chinese, etc. It's not our strong parts. That's you. It's empirical research. All we work with in Clearinghouse is empirical research, because we look at interventions, what has worked or what is being done, and how are they being measured.
And as you could see before, we are looking at sustainable development, lifelong learning, and higher education.
And all the searches have been done in ERIC, which is the largest educational database in the world. Right now it has approximately 1.5 million studies.
And we found 191 studies plus 3 references from references.
And after we screen them, we have 23 included studies.
And now we are going to look at the coming topics across the 23 studies.
That's you.
Usually we talk about interdisciplinarity, but we can see when we are looking at these studies that we need to change our wording to multidisciplinary.
And also they're looking at sustainability wholly integrated into all disciplines, so that what we're also seeing in the studies is we're not just talking about a course in sustainability, but it should be a part of the curriculum in all subjects.
And we can also see that it is very important that you collaborate between multiple stakeholders. That means university, government people, organization, unions, etc.
And also that you look at the context where you're working with sustainability, because this is also very different, also across different geographic locations, if we're talking about in the mountains or places where tsunamis are hitting. So this is also something we see is very important.
And we're looking at barriers to the integration of sustainability, and there are several of them. Sometimes university teachers do not really like to have issues about sustainability in their own topics.
And also the importance of teaching reflectiveness and critical thinking. What we're also seeing in a lot of these studies is that university teachers are also taking the subject up, but the students are just repeating. For example, we have some from architecture, where the students are saying it's important to build sustainable buildings, yes, but that's all they say. And actually doing it is not necessarily a part of what they're thinking.
And we need to have a combination of both bottom-up and top-down studies. Often it is top-down with everything you want to change, but it is important really to take care of the initiatives that are coming from the bottom as well.
And finally, it's also a controversial concept, the value-based and political. So many of the university teachers are also saying, this is not my responsibility. This is a political decision that should be made, and it's not a part of my curriculum.
And here you can see the results and where they are coming from. The number of studies that are trying to change curriculum is 10. And it is both putting curriculum in the subject area and have sustainability as an isolated course.
And then we can also see community learning. We have 5 studies there that are actually very interesting, but where the universities are actually, one of them, are going out to a village and actually teaching the people in this village how to maintain the trees and plants, but also getting them to get their children to go to school, which has also been a part of the project.
And I'm sure you all know what it means to have university networks. It's very easy to say we have one, but getting it on in real life, that is much more complicated because of distances, cost, and different cultures.
And then we have moving beyond the campus. We have 2. These are interesting studies also. One of them is about students going abroad to study at other universities, but where a part of this is also that they have to figure out how much carbon dioxide am I letting out by taking a plane to go there, and also where they're learning about local culture and foods and what that means to respect that and also have a knowledge about it.
And last but not least, you have to work with the teachers' attitudes, and then we're again back to the subject area they have been teaching in for many years, and many really do not like to have sustainability included.
So.
That was all.
That was our tiny presentation of the tiny book.